If you haven't watched the previous video from Hibino's tale, check it out first. We saw Hibino and Lino escaping from the hospital before they were discovered. While they were escaping, a giant monster appeared from which Hibino was able to save a little girl and her mother. 3 months later, no one revealed Hibino's accident, and they managed to keep attention away from them, claiming that they had fled the hospital out of fear only. We witnessed Hibino's success in the first test of the defense forces, but Hibino is unconsciously turning into a monster, which may cause him some problems. Then, Hibino and Leno headed to the defense forces headquarters, where they met Kikyo, who was obviously going to make Hibino hate his life when she wanted to park her car. Kikyo smells a monster emanating from Hibino. Did Kikyo reveal the truth about our hero? This is what we will find out in today's video. Before we start, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell button. Now let's start. She tells him that she will remove the waist from its place herself and then begins to unbutton her dress. Kikyo puts on her Defense Forces uniform, then removes the car from its location. Leno and Hibino are amazed by her strength, and she tells them that she is the 2016 applicant, Kikyo Shinomaya. Kikyo then turns to Hibino, telling him that she smells a monster coming from him. Did Kikyo reveal the truth about Hibino? Pause the video here, like, and write us a comment with your predictions. I think that Kikyo did not reveal the truth about Hibino because Leno saves the situation by telling her that they work for a cleaning company that specializes in monsters, and that this is the reason for the smell emanating from them. Hibino puts the car back in place with his force without Kikyo seeing him. When she looks behind her, she believes Leno's words and thinks that Hibino is wearing an outfit similar to hers, but he corrects her that applicant number 2023 is Hibino Kafaka. Kikyo's driver suddenly appears, surprised that the car is where it is. Kikyo tells them that she was just kidding them, threatens Hibino and Leno that she will make them regret what they said, then leaves with her driver. Lino feels exhausted and frightened and asks Hibino if he randomly used his power in front of Kikyo. Hibino reassures him, telling him that no one noticed anything and that they are safe now. At that moment, 2 soldiers arrive. While the 2 soldiers are talking, they hear a loud voice and ask what is happening. Hibino and Leno reassure them that everything is fine. After the 2 soldiers are gone, Leno stares at Hibino with a terrifying look, warning him not to use his power again, otherwise he will be the one to turn himself in. Hibino and Leno then enter the Defense Forces base to begin the test. Hibino participates in a running race, but has difficulty keeping up with the other runners. Hibino and Leno sit in the locker room talking about the test. Hibino says that he practiced every day in preparation for the test, but he did not expect this level of difficulty. Leno tells Hibino that the second test is divided into 2 parts, a physical test and an aptitude test. He points out that the aptitude test depends on the applicant's instincts, and its content changes every year, which makes it difficult to prepare for. Leno Hibino advises focusing on achieving good results on the physical test, as long as they do not know what the next test will be like. Hibino re-participates in the test, and we notice that he has occupied a middle position in the second half of the rankings, and he looks completely exhausted. Hibino was thinking about using his power all the time, but he was afraid that his truth would be revealed, and that he would put himself in danger. Hibino is shocked to discover his ranking in the physical test, coming in 219th out of 225 applicants, meaning that all his efforts were in vain. Kikyo arrives and smells Hibino's scent, reminding him that she will make him regret his words, but because of the result, she gloats that it happened faster than she expected. Hibino realizes that he misjudged Kikyo, so he angrily tells her to forget about the whole matter. Leno arrives congratulating Hibino for not using his monstrous power. Hibino explains that all the applicants did their best to get here, and that he would be a coward if he resorted to using his power to cheat. Hibino regains his self-confidence and loudly proclaims his charisma, while simultaneously not using his power. Hibino explains his behavior as a result of the exhaustion he felt during the test just now. Leno points out that fatigue is not the only reason for Hibino's low ranking and hints at another reason. We move to Mina Ichi, where her deputy, Hoshina, arrives bearing a list of all the applicants. Minaichi only shows interest in defeating the monster, but Hibino's name and picture catch her attention. Minaichi catches the revelation and asks Hoshina to continue his speech. While Hoshina talks, Leno and Hibino sit under the fence. Leno begins by introducing Hibino to their classmates, starting with Orochi, who ranked second in the physical test and first in his class. Then he introduces him to Furuhashi, who ranked third in the physical exam and first in his class at Chuji School. As for the person who surprised everyone, he was Kagurahai, who topped the physical exam and who joined the defense forces instead of joining a better place than this. But Leno does not miss this occasion without showing his culture, telling Hibino that people wearing military uniforms are the ones competing for administrative positions, rather than field work. And last, but not least, the girl who caught everyone's attention arrives, Kikyo Shinomoya, 16 years old, and the youngest graduate of the University of California, which specializes in training monster tamers. Everyone wants to defeat her, which shows Leno's cunning and extensive knowledge of this year's applicants. Kikyo notices Hibino's interest in her, so she points out that he seems to know a lot of information about her now. Hibino answers her in a naive tone. "I didn't know you were that strong." Suddenly, Kikyo's assistant approaches and deals him a blow that silences him. He warns him not to approach her, shake her hand, or touch her, unleashing a barrage of sarcasm on him. Kikyo adds sarcastically that this is the second time Hibino has regretted his words. Meanwhile, proficiency testing begins from the second stage of testing. All applicants go to the second training ground. Hibino tells Leno that he is completely exhausted and that he has reached his limit. Leno reassures him that hope is not lost yet, as the content of the aptitude test for the past 2 years was cleaning up the remains of monsters, a task that Hibino has mastered. Leno points out that this test evaluates applicants' intelligence and their ability to dispose of monster remains efficiently, which is why Hibino chose to work for a monster remains cleaning company. Leno hopes the same test will be repeated this year. Here, a ray of hope appears before our hero. All applicants gather in front of the small gate of the second square. Hoshina, the third squad's vice captain, arrives and turns out to be the head of the examination committee. Hoshina opens the portal and a huge monster appears. Hoshina announces that the second part of the test is to eliminate this monster. Hibino and Leno's joy fades, as they were not expecting this kind of test. Hibino and Leno are shocked by the surprise, while Kikyo seems confident and unconcerned. Hibino scolds Leno for thinking that the test would just be cleaning up monster remains, but Leno reminds him that he was only talking about the test for the past 2 years. Hoshina surprises them by announcing that he will not force them to face the monster without offering them protection. They are presented with a full Defense Forces uniform, and Kikyo looks her best after wearing it. After Leno puts on the costume, he measures his generated power, only to be surprised that it is only 8%. Hoshina asks what the generated power is, and he tells him that it is the percentage of the costume's power that he can consume. Leno becomes frustrated when he learns that his power will only be 8% of the costume's power. But Hoshina reassures him, explaining that 8% is an excellent percentage for a new user of the uniform, and that the consumption rate for trained soldiers is only 20%. Kikyo arrives to surprise everyone with her 46% power generation, impressing Hoshina, who likens her to a battalion commander. Warning: Kikyo's strength seems to be exaggerated. How could a young girl be better than trained soldiers? Zumo arrives with 18% generated power, Kaho with 15% power, and Haru with 14% power. One soldier points out that it's rare for such a number of applicants to get more than 10%, and Hoshina asserts that he hasn't seen a group this strong in years. Hoshina reassures Leno, telling him there's no need to worry as long as his power hasn't reached 0%. Here, everyone is surprised by Hibino's power, which turns out to be 0%. Hibino becomes frustrated and tries to prove his true strength, but Hoshina tells him to calm down before he causes disaster. Hoshina's assistant girl tries to stop him from making fun of Hibino, pointing out that this might be an error in measurement, but she realizes deep down that this is Hibino's true strength. After this embarrassing situation, Hibino is determined to find a solution to his problem. Kikyo Hibino watches, wondering what superpower he possesses that enables him to lift the car into the parking lot. Hoshina announces the start of the test, explaining that their goal is to eliminate the massive monster, as well as 36 other monsters spread across the training ground. He points out that the huge monster killed 16 people last year and was captured to be used to train the new generation of soldiers. Hoshina warns applicants that their safety is not guaranteed from now on. Hibino reassures Lino that he will protect him, but Lino sarcastically reminds him of his non-existent strength. Leno calms down and wonders what they will do given their lack of offensive ability. Suddenly, Hoshina announces that Captain Mina will be the one who will evaluate the applicant's performance in the final exam. Hibino tries to calm down when he hears the name Mina and remembers that she is watching them now. Leno asks if Mina will follow up on each applicant individually, and Leno tells him that the evaluation criterion is the number of monsters that each applicant kills, and that it is possible to use a sensor to calculate this without the need for personal follow-up. Hibino speculates that Mina will evaluate applicants based on their abilities, and that those with weak offensive capabilities will have to support the attackers and watch their backs. Hibino rushes to help the attacking soldiers, grabs a stun grenade, and throws it at the monster. The monster is severely affected by the attack, as it has developed a sense of hearing to compensate for its poor eyesight. Hibino calls the rest of the soldiers and directs them to target the monster's stomach area, because it is considered its weak point. The soldiers thank Hibino for his advice. Kikyo's assistant calls him Hibino, thinking he is just her assistant, but Hibino insists that he is no one's assistant. Leno praises Hibino's performance, and Hibino brags about his extensive knowledge of monsters, noting that he can succeed without the need for his monstrous strength. This situation ignites a new ray of hope in Hibino's heart, but this hope soon fades as Hibino throws another bomb at the monster to maintain control of the battle, and the monster pounces on him and deals him a strong blow that knocks him to the ground. In the control room, officials prepare to activate Hibino's shield to save him. Mina watches the scene intently. Hibino realizes that he will fail the test if his armor is activated, so he tries to get up, determined not to show his weakness in front of Mina. The monster approaches Hibino, and the officials are about to activate his shield. Hoshina expresses his disappointment, as he thought Hibino would be the last one to be infected. Hibino tries to get back up, but he despairs when the monster is about to crush him. Suddenly, and unexpectedly, a mysterious person appears and delivers a powerful blow to the monster, knocking it to the ground. Hibino is shocked when he discovers that his savior is Kikyo, and he cannot believe that she is the one who saved him. Kikyo tells him that she saved him only for him to be further humiliated, emphasizing her condescending character. Kikyo sets out to continue the fight, declaring her desire to defeat the monster alone. Kagura and Hiro rush off, each wanting the honor of defeating the monster. But they are surprised by Kikyo's immense strength. Hoshina addresses Hibino from the control room, informing him of abnormalities in his vitals, possible fractures, and possible damage to his internal organs. Hoshina advises Hibino to withdraw, but Leno intervenes and asks him to allow Hibino to complete the test. Hibino gets up and announces to everyone that he is not the perfect person, and that it is illogical for him to chase his dreams at this age. But he insists on participating, because this is his last chance. Unfortunately, my friend, the video ends here. If you want to know what will happen, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell button to receive the new video as soon as it is released. I hope you liked the video. See you in the next video, and don't forget to like. Sala.